He's got it. He's got a whole thing. Hey,
he's
there
back.
you are.
Look at him.
There I am. Look at that. Fucking quarantine
You
bodies in
sound
full
so
effect.
much better. So much better.
Awesome. All right, so we're recording, so we can start whenever we. What are we going to talk about?
Valhalla,
Mm-hmm.
the Jeff Keighley Summer Game Fest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll drop a. Do you know about that? I can drop you a link on that real quick.
Go for it.
Hold on. Let me get back to Skip. That's the whole story with that. And then one kind of leads to the other because it's May 7th is part of the Summer Game Fest. They're doing a whole reveal on Series X games and gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And Valhalla is that's where you're going to see the first Valhalla gameplay. It's part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I just think it's funny how they came up with the most generic fucking thing in the world and were like, this is going to replace E3. Let's see here. Outside of that, do you guys have any other news you'd like to cover?
No.
Because, yeah, I mean, there's the Animal Crossing update, like what's new for May. And then I was playing Viva Pinata and Streets of Rage.
Mm-hmm.
Any of you guys playing that, or is it just me?
No, I've been playing Streets of Rage, and
cool.
Yeah, that's the only new game I've been playing this week.
All right.
Oh, Picross 4, but I mean that's Picross.
I want to hear about it. Don't just gloss over that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Justin's got some new hotness he's going to talk about.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, should we just hit the ground running and see where the fucking day takes us?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. If Justin will stop eating for a second, we'll do it.
Get some like high quality ASMR right there, just
right,
open
totally.
mouth chewing into the microphone. High quality, guys.
Yeah. Zach just takes like a mad jewel rip into the mic.
Yep. We're doing this. All right. Okay, let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Pixel Life. This is episode 90, recording on May 3rd, 2020. It is a weekend of reckoning because as if this wonderful time period hasn't been fun enough, we have murder hornets on our shores. Just, it's going to be fun 1,000 years from now when people are like arguing over a new book and it's going to be called something like the Bible and they'll be like, oh, look at the plagues. There was disease and then pestilence and war and murder hornets and video games. And that's what we're here to talk about is video games. It'll be great. It'll be good times. And to do that, I have with me, as always, Mr. Shannon Moore.
Hello. I'm very happy that you put us all in tank tops for the show. Yes. So we could show everybody our quarantine bods are in full effect.
Yeah, the quarantine / dad bod totally working. It's totally working. It is a body that is built upon inactivity and really 3 pillars: inactivity, horrible sleep patterns, and incessant snacking because I'm home and bored. So it's really a wonderful trifecta. The third member of this trifecta of quarantine bodiness, Mr. Justin Time Carter. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm working on my quarantine bod right now with this mustard potato salad.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so glad I'm not in that closet with you while you're recording, man. Like your farts are gonna be unreal in about 15 minutes.
Because I sit in the closet, I sit on like I take my pillows off the bed and I sit on them. So all the time I'm afraid that I'm gonna give myself pink eye one of these times because I'm just gonna like fart really hard into one of the pillows and like end up giving myself pink pink eye.
I think you're gonna have to put like like one of those like those gas sensors up in your closet to make sure that you don't like just kill yourself in there.
I'm gonna have to like get one of those like old lady plastic covers and like cover my pillows so it just glides right off.
It makes it easy cleaning when you shit yourself too, so
Hose it down in the yard.
All right, that's been a Pixel Life. Thank you everyone for joining us the last couple of years. I'm shutting it down. We've done it. I don't know if we can do more than
Robbie's
that.
not here, man. Like, I mean, while the cat's away, the mice will play. I guess.
Guys, we had been recording for 2.5 fucking minutes. Like, come on.
That is not like the worst. I think we've hit like 30 seconds in. We've dropped some knowledge that nobody wanted, but
and Shannon's house phone already rang once before the podcast even started. So.
That is true.
Oh man, why you gotta
dude? And now that he switched computers, he's depriving the world of his pink and white headset that he was wearing, which is great.
It's rose gold and white. Thank you very much.
I didn't see any gold, but I believe you. Sure.
He's like, it's endorsed by Ninja.
Come on now.
It's a Trolls World Tour.
Oh, damn.
I mean, actually, would it shock you at all if they actually had a Trolls World Tour gaming headset? Like, that would not stun me in the slightest.
No, I mean, like, you already have like the headphones and the gaming headsets that have the cat ears on them. What's like adding like a faux hawk to the top of like the band? I mean, that sticks.
Exactly.
I was like, speaking of which, did you see the news about AMC's like bitch fit over Universal?
Yeah, they're like, we're not carrying any more Universal movies. I'm like, all right, I'll see you when the new Fast and Furious comes out.
I know, right?
I know. I was like, dude, that's embarrassing. Like, I'm like, whoever manages their Twitter, I'm like, you should feel bad.
Yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say, that social media director or whatever position actually runs that account. Got a couple phone calls from high up on the board that next day, going like, what did you just do? No, don't do that. Yeah, you have the end of the day to pack your stuff. Get out. Like,
did you see our box office since this Corona thing? We made $3,000 last month nationwide. We need these movies. Yeah. Shut up.
Exactly. It is pretty interesting though because I mean, Trolls was a huge success, being a direct to home release, especially when you compare it to the first movie. Do you guys think that is going to be how things? Do you think that change is a permanent thing, or like should movie theaters be pretty worried?
Yes. I mean, like, I'm surprised it lasted this long. I'm surprised like the bigger carriers like Apple TV and Hulu and Amazon haven't already flexed their muscles to be like, look, we want to have the movies come out on our platform right away. You hit a broader market. I'm pretty sure they'll take a little bit more of a cut, but you're hitting a wider audience. I mean, what's the number one problem for people like you or me who have kids who can't go out to the movie theaters or have to find babysitters who have, it's a whole production to go out to see a movie if you have a child that's under the age of, I don't know, 10. So I think it makes your viewing audience, it casts a wider net. So it wouldn't surprise me if your movies grossed more just because more people are available to see it right away. So I would be, if I was AMC Theaters, I would be shaking in my boots right now, and I would be playing as nice as possible with these people. So when this whole thing is over, they're like, okay, well, yeah, we'll put our movies back in your theaters. Like, we'll take this on. Because right now, if they're going to be a little bitch about it the way that they are, I don't see Universal going back to theater to life.
It's also one of those things though where I think if you roll the clock back to February before all this shit hit the fan, I don't know if Trolls is that big of a success, just simply because everyone's not trapped in their home with children going, yes, I will pay you $20 to shut them up for 2 hours. Just take the $20. Like, it's fine. So I'm curious if this maintains once things open up again, because as convenient as that is, it seems like people still like the movie theater experience. I know I still enjoy a movie theater experience, especially for something huge and bombastic. You want the big screen, you want the pounding sound system and all that stuff. But I mean, not to be hypocritical, it is pretty damn convenient to just watch something at home when, for me, having a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, a night out of the movies is a couple $100 endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
When I take into account just the expense of the movie and then babysitting and then food and then so on and so forth, making mac and cheese at home and shoving it in my kids' faces while we watch Trolls for $20, it's a much more convenient proposition. So I'm of two minds of it. Like I can see where for people in like my position or your position, Shannon, where it makes a lot of sense, the buy from home model, but for people like Justin, it probably makes more sense to go to a movie theater because it's still going out. It's still something to do. It's still outside of your house. And I kind of think there's a backlash coming with that too, of people that are just going to want to be outside of their house as much as possible as soon as this is over.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, so, so speaking from the breeder perspective, we got that answer. But speaking from the non-breeder perspective, like Justin, what's your take on this whole matter?
So for me, it's like I do have A-list through AMC and stuff, and since they've been shut down, they quit charging me until eventually they're gonna open back up. But it's like one of the reasons I initially got it is because I love horror movies, and Megan hates horror movies. So that's like at home, unless I'm like watching it on my phone, basically like with headphones, I can't watch horror movies because she doesn't even want it like on in the background because she's like really scared by them. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I initially did A-list, is because I'm like, cool, with my buddy Jonathan, for $20 a month, whatever, I can go see like 2 or 3 horror movies a month, get my money's worth, doing it that way.
You get to watch the 90th Purge sequel and Saw and all those.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not knocking it. I'm saying yeah.
I can totally see though. Most movies nowadays anyway are only in theaters for like 2 or 3 weeks anyway, unless it's like a Disney movie or something where it shells out for like a month or so. So I can totally see it moving to a sort of plan where it's basically in the theater for, the 2-3 weeks, whatever. And then after about like, a month of the movie coming out, it would be available to like download digitally or something like that at home. Because then it's not in theaters anymore. So you're not losing the money, and they're making that money before the Blu-ray, DVD, whatever comes out.
And you got to think that's fading out too. I mean, 5 years from now, are they still selling Blu-rays? I mean, it's one of those things where we all used to buy CDs. No one buys CDs anymore. And part of it is image quality and compression and just size caps and things like that. But you got to think going forward, streaming is going to get better as technology improves and broadband access improves nationwide and things like that. I just can't see a decade from now us all going like, well, the Blu-ray comes out. I can't see it coming. Even if it's 8K at that point or something, it still just seems like physical media is just something that's going away.
I don't know. I just feel the problem with the digital media is it's more of like a license for you to use the digital media. So if like the provider that you're going with, like let's say it's Apple TV, if like they have a falling out with like the people that they're buying that media from, and they pull it from the Apple store, now you paid money for that. And it's gone now. It's gone to you, like because you bought the license through that company. So now you have to buy it again through another conglomerate. And I just think that that's kind of like a shady business practice. I think it's a way for, companies to double dip on your investment to them. So I don't know. I just think it's something has to be done in that market before it's readily acceptable for people.
Because Lord knows people don't buy the same movie 2 or 3 or 5 times, or the same video game 10 times. Like,
yeah.
Whoa! All right, look. just because I own Skyrim on everything except PS3 does not mean jack shit.
Uh-huh. I mean, I'm not even pointing fingers. I own the Tomb Raider remake. I have that sumbitch on Xbox 360, PS3, Xbox One, and I have it on the PS4 because I bought the legacy pack when it was on sale for $14 or something that came with the 20th anniversary edition of Rise of Tomb Raider. I have that thing on 4 goddamn consoles, and that game came out in 2013. That game came out 7 years ago, and I owned it on 4 different consoles. It's kind of stupid. I'm the first to admit it. That being said, I love that series. Those 3 games are amazing, but come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with pointing fingers at somebody. You point one finger at somebody, you got 3 pointing right back at you. So, I did the same thing with Diablo 3. I got it on the PC. I got it on the PlayStation. I got it on the Switch.
Yep.
It's gotten all of us, but
That's another one, where I bought Diablo 3 on the 360, and then when Reaper of Souls came out on PS4, I was like, well, I guess for $40, I'll buy it again. Get the DLC with it.
I feel like every time that game comes up, I feel obligated to say it, but God damn it, we should do it at some point. Guys, let's play some Diablo 3. Let's start new characters and play some Diablo 3.
Well, okay, so that's a whole nother nutshell, a whole nother problem, right? Because now you have they've gone so deep into that. So you have just the standard story, but then you have the season, where you got to do a whole bunch of challenges and bullshit. And then there's, I don't know, I think there's one more thing that it deals with your armor sets. But there's just so much in that game. What are we doing? Are we just doing the storyline? Are we doing the season? What's going on here? And what system are we going to do it on?
Well, I think you tell me. Maybe PS4 would be the way to go on that, because I think that's the one we all have, and that's the system Shannon has hooked up currently. Yep. But also, I'm down for whatever. Let's just do this.
All right, let's do it. I'm down.
And I'm telling you both right now, the second that Magic the Gathering Arena hits for consoles, it is going to be fucking on, you guys. Because I mean, I just don't have. I'm never in front of a PC enough to play it with any regularity, but that game rules. And
if it comes out on the Switch, that's going to be my most played game, I think, just because it will be with me wherever I go. Then it will take all my money.
You already know I'll be there day one.
Oh yeah. It'll be one of those things for that first couple weeks. You'll log into whatever service at 3 a.m, and it'll be like, well, Zach's awake. Playing Magic apparently. It's gonna be ugly. I'm letting everyone know now. It's prepare for delirium on these airwaves. Yeah. Oh man, Magic. Oh, I love that game. I hate it, but I love it. But I hate it. But But speaking of games and potential new games, a huge reveal happened this last week, and I am curious to hear your guys' thoughts on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now that trailer, you guys, that goddamn trailer, that was something. I mean, I was into it. I loved it. So the trailer was essentially a cinematic of a battle scene between Vikings and looked like a Saxon army. And, basically the Saxons were taking the fight to the Vikings after being invaded a few times. And the hero, which I think you pronounce Igor, something like that. When they were I was reading some things after about the who the character is, and it's so you can be a male or female protagonist in this game. Ivor. And the name is spelled Eivor, and it's the same name regardless of male or female protagonist. So maybe this is I'm blanking on the name of that peninsula that the Vikings all come from, but maybe it's whatever that is for like Sam or Chris, maybe Ivor, I don't know. But the battle is going down and Ivor's laying waste, kicking ass, taking names, and then this huge like knight shows up and starts beating the piss out of him until he stabs him in the eyes with a hidden blade, which is like the it's Assassin's Creed moment, and it effing ruled. Like, it was really good. And it got me so hyped to play this game. And it's been 2 years since Odyssey, and Odyssey was probably my favorite Assassin's Creed game front to back. Like, I think it's the game where they nailed the mechanics of it and the huge open worldness, but it never felt unmanageable and it never felt just completely overwhelming. It was able, as big as that game was, you managed to play through it in chunks that felt manageable, and until it all pieced itself together patchwork quilt style, and it worked incredibly well. And I thought it built off of Origin really, really well. And the team making this game is the one that was responsible for Black Flag and Origin, which again are two of the better or best Assassin's Creed games, I would say. And I am super hyped for this one. What do you guys think?
I am very sad.
What?
Because I watched that preview. I watched it multiple times, or that trailer, and I fell in love with the game. I was like, this is badass. Like, this is the Assassin's Creed that feels like it would fit my my play style. So then, of course, what do? You like investigate it further. You find out like what's going on. You get like, so the male class is going to be called the Berserker. The female class is going to be called the Shield Master. So they were talking about, there may be a variation in the storyline depending on who you choose and how you play. They were talking about how there's like 5 regions that they know of right now that the developers are putting into the game, and there's a possibility of 2 or 3 unknown ones that are like towards the end of the game. So this game is going to be massive. They were also talking about how the village that you saw in the trailer is going to be a very important or an integral part of your gameplay experience. So you're going to have like you're going to be traveling out to do like conquerings or to infiltrate like certain regions, but your home like hub world is going to be this village, and it's going to be important to pay attention to it, to upgrade it, to maintain your villagers like morale. So it seems like it's going to be pretty in-depth in that spot. And then they added alliances. So now you're going to have like other tribes that you're going to be fighting that you can choose to either like strike an alliance with. These alliances affect other outcomes in the game. They affect the storyline of the game. So there's a lot of meat on this bone. And the one thing that makes me sad is that I don't have the time to put that much energy and time into the game to like immerse myself the way that I would really want to in this type of setting. So as much as I want to play it, and as much as I would really, really like to get my hands on it, I don't know if right now is the time for me to play this game. Which is
a good thing, because it's not coming out right now. It's coming out in holiday, and I agree with you. I agree with you to a point, until I realized that I've probably had Animal Crossing for 3 weeks, and I've probably put 100 hours into that goddamn game. Or, like, I got Murder by Numbers and beat it in a week. I got Ori and the Will-O-Wisps and put 35 hours into that in a week.
I get that, but
it's one of those things where, like, I think the idea of it is incredibly daunting, but when something's good, you find the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just do.
But with Animal Crossing, it's a different beast, right? Because like with Animal Crossing, you can log into the game. Yeah, I mean, you can log in, and like even if you're playing it for like 5 minutes, like whatever you're doing is moving towards something. Like I don't think you could log into Assassin's Creed for 5 minutes and feel like you accomplished anything. In 5 minutes a day, I went into Animal Crossing. I bought like $300,000 bells worth of turnips, and dug up some fossils, and then logged out of my game and felt like, okay, I'm good for today. Like I don't need to go back to it if I don't want to.
Hey, Shannon, what if you start your game of Valhalla and Tom Nook's running your Viking village?
Oh man, I don't know. I might have to turn it off.
Or no, you show up, and it's a guy just named Tom that's got like a raccoon skin hat or something. He's just like, yeah, hey, I can add a basement if you want.
Yeah.
Just,
You want a castle? I'll give you a castle.
Right. He's got twin sons that run the shop. It'd be so great. I would be so all about it. I would laugh my ass off. Justin, what were your thoughts about this?
So, Assassin's Creed is one of those games where it's like you were saying that Black Flag and like Origins are the best in the series, which it's funny because I haven't played either of those ones.
Oh, Black Flag is so good.
My
God,
get on that Black Flag.
But see, I've only played 4 of them, and the 4 that I've played are 1, 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations. I think that was like one of the last ones in like the 360.
Yeah, so you
era.
basically played up through Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like it's like when like actual Assassin's Creed 3 came out, like I heard good things, and then like everyone when 4 is on just like Diablo where it's on every fucking console now.
Yep.
And stuff, and I heard nothing but good things about that. And then I was so burnt out on Assassin's Creed because after like the first one they just started pumping them out so fast. And then when Origins was coming out, that was like what kind of, I never played it, but hearing you guys talk about it and stuff like that kind of like piqued my interest back into Assassin's Creed, even though I never got around to playing it. And then now I'm just kind of, it's like, man, it's like I do kind of want to dive back into Assassin's Creed because it sounds like it's kind of worked its way out of that rut that it kind of got itself into years ago. And then now they kind of realized, all right, we don't need to pump 2 games out in a year. Let's actually focus on one and make it good instead of like building like faceless people in like towns and stuff.
Yeah, that French Revolution one was rough.
But the one thing that ticks me that is kind of a bummer about this one is from what I've heard, even though it's from the people that made Black Flag, the only time you're in the boat in this one is when you're sailing somewhere to where you're gonna pillage, and then you're going to get on your boat and go back to your hub world. Like there's not any seafaring like
battles or anything.
Battles or anything like that. Yeah. So that's kind of a bummer. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer. It's one of Black Flag and Rogue both really nailed the sea battle part of it. But I mean, I also get where a lot of people burned out on that pretty quick. I mean, I maybe we were more the exception than the rule, where we're like, hell yeah, give me more naval battles, So I don't know. Yeah. But if you're looking, Justin, to explore, Origin or Odyssey, you can both pick them up pretty damn cheap now. I mean, Black Flag you can get probably for nothing these days, but Odyssey is really, really good as far as mechanics go, and they fix a bunch of stuff that had been killing that franchise for years. Between Origin and Odyssey, they they basically redid the combat entirely, kind of gave it a Dark Souls type layout as far as combat goes, but it takes a little while to wrap your mind around, but once you do, the flow of combat works so much better, especially in crowds. And just the level of storytelling on both those games is way higher than it had been. So I recommend it.
One of my favorite things to do, and I think it was Assassin's Creed 1, was I just kind of hang out in the town and wait for like the women with the pots on their heads to walk by, and then just bump into them and make them drop the pot and then go sit back down. And I would just do that for hours. I would just sit there and just shatter pots and then just run around and just be a dick to everyone.
I like that your Assassin's Creed experience is griefing NPCs. Like that's your
Yeah.
Not even a troll to other people, just to NPCs.
Yeah, totally.
It like does nothing, and then just like just hanging out on the side of the building and watching people walk by and kind of look at you weird and just keep going. Like that was my shtick.
Though, as far as the Italy ones go, Brotherhood was the best. Like Brotherhood was amazing. I mean, I put Brotherhood up there still as one of the best games of that generation. Like that game was so great.
Well, yeah, and I remember when 1 came out, just the jump from 1 to 2, like 2 was like mind blowing, like because it was like it took everything that was kind of like the shortcomings of 1 and expanded on it, and you got like your different weapons and whatever. And then I know in Brotherhood that I think is when they introduced the grenades.
Yep.
And stuff like that, and that was really cool.
And then the end of Brotherhood, where the lady like turns and looks right at the camera, and she's talking to you directly, or Desmond or whatever, like directly, and it was like such a like brain breaking moment of like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on with this golden apple thing? And like, holy crap! And then they did absolutely nothing with that. And it was such a bummer. It was like
unraveled out.
yeah, totally. It was like this Matrix-esque thing of like such a killer ending that they just wasted. They were just like, that was my big idea. I got nothing to follow that up. So I don't know. There's some ghosts or something. I don't know. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Shan. What were you gonna say?
No, the one thing that I hate about all the Assassin's Creeds is that I hope that they get rid of the trailing missions like altogether. Like I don't know how you do that as a Viking in this game. So if they remove that completely, I'm all for it. Like that's the one detractor I didn't like about any of the other Assassin's Creeds. So if they get rid of that, that's a huge bump in a favorable direction for me.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mention wanting to see gameplay of this because that leads us right into our next story. Hey, you guys know how everything's canceled? Like all things are canceled. And Jeff Keighley, Mr. Jeff Keighley of all things game festival and awards related, has stepped in to create the most generic named event ever called the Summer Game Fest, which is meant to be like a digital virtual replacement for things like E3 and Gamescom and all these type of things that have been canceled this summer. And starting with phase 1, kind of scarily named phase 1 of Summer Game Fest, there's going to be events from PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and CD Projekt Red. But it starts off this week, which is on the 7th. They are going to Microsoft is going to be hosting a Series X game conference, essentially through this setup. And one of the games that they're going to show is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So we're probably going to be getting some pretty good stuff, I'm hoping, to later this week as far as what we're going to see from the new Xbox. And I mean, what are you guys looking to get out of this? I mean, as someone like Justin, as someone that plays PC stuff, you got to be thinking like, oh, great, you're just showing me stuff I've seen already because I know what ray tracing looks like and I know what 60 frames a second look like, and and all these things that are relatively new in the console space, but like PC gamers have been like, great, you're going to show me gameplay that I've been looking at for 3 years. Awesome.
Even with like E3 and stuff, it's like I'm just hoping there might be some like new like game announcements and like stuff like that, because I mean really that's kind of what it's like with E3 and stuff. It's like the stuff, there's always like the stuff you're gonna see going into E3, but then it's like especially from like Nintendo and like Sony always has like one or two like this was like under the rug the entire time, and then now you're just getting to see it and stuff. And it's like the unknown is always what kind of made watching that stuff worth it, and the like little surprises and stuff, and the games you didn't know that you wanted that now they're showing you. You're like, ooh, looks promising. Like, so that's kind of what I'm hoping they can still pull off. Is like they're like using like I'm sure like Cyberpunk and some other like bigger titles and stuff to draw people in, but I'm hoping there's going to be maybe some like cool like unannounced indie games and stuff like that to like.
Well, yeah, because I can still remember when they did that indie game show or trailer that was essentially 50 seconds or something in 2016, and in the middle of all that was like 2 seconds of Cuphead, and the entire world went like, wait, roll the tape back. What was that? What did we just see? What was that game?
Well, what's even funnier is if you go back and probably watch that, I guarantee you like 50% of those games haven't even fucking come out yet.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Like I know like Tunic, the one that looks like the really cute Zelda-esque one where you're the fox and stuff, and like that hasn't come out.
All about that.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that.
They showed that like at the same time as like No Man's Sky and shit, and I'm like, dude,
yeah.
like where is this game? Like I still want it.
I mean, as someone that's been making 2018's release of Negative Space, I understand. Games are hard.
So I was like, funny. Speaking of that, just real quick, it was funny. Was when I was hanging out with.
And you guys got to watch on video later because when I said that, Justin's eyes got about like that. It's like, wait, I have a point.
Yeah. I was like, I don't like being called out on that shit. No, but I was hanging out with my friend Matt yesterday, and we were talking about Twitter. And I was telling him like about like I was like, yeah, because I've had like Twitter for probably like since like 2015 or something like that. And I was like, how long have I had it? And I couldn't remember like what my first post was. And I scrolled all the way because I don't post that often, so it didn't take me very long to get all the way down to the bottom. And my first post was from like it was like the end of January 2016. And it was like January like 25th, 2016. And it was a link to Vine. And it said some like, that dates it right there, telling you that it's a link to Vine. And it said something. I don't remember what the sentence was, but I was like, what is this link even to? And I clicked on it, and it was the original title screen that I had made for Negative Space.
Wow.
Like, I was working on it since and that like was a punch in the gut that I was like, dude, I've been working on this for like over 4 years. Like that is a long time. And I'm like, God damn it. Like I was like, I remember this title screen, and I'm just like, now I'm bummed out.
You're like, well, I've successfully ruined my own day, so this is great. Nice.
But on the bright side, I was like, at least Negative Space is still in development, where Vine isn't even around anymore. So
sure. And kids, Vine was TikTok before TikTok. So just in case you're curious of what the hell we're talking about. Yeah. But by the way, where's Just Dance the TikTok version? Can we get that out there, Ubisoft? Can we make that happen? That seems like a natural, like a good crossover. Just nothing but TikTok dances would be great. But I would expect the Microsoft Showcase to have, your Halo, your Hellblade 2, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is supposed to be there. Like you said, Cyberpunk. I'm kind of also hoping they just show a little bit more of the system as far as system level stuff goes. Like, show me, even though it's the Spider-Man example is PS4, obviously, but show me the city that you can just go move through and it doesn't have to load. Show me instant loading screen. Show me switching between games like crazy fast and nothing really bugs down. Like, that's the stuff I want to see. But
what if like say they had Cyberpunk open and stuff and they were showing it and then they closed it to the Xbox menu screen and they brought the Xbox 360 blades back?
Oh, day one purchase. You brought the blades back. I'm in. Give me the blades.
I don't know. I think this is. I don't know. They need to come out of the gate strong if they're going to do this. If they're going to be like one of the first people. So everything that you guys have reiterated is definitely important. But I think they're also falling into that same like problem they had last year or last console release. I mean, they're basically going to be giving away, hopefully, like enough specs to where people are going to be interested in their product. And then you're going to have Sony go maybe like a week or two later, and they're going to probably have some time to change their marketing strategy or change their pitch, and get people back in their camp. I mean, Xbox still has the problem of not having concrete exclusives for their console. So everything that they're going to be showing is also going to be stuff that you can buy on the Sony or like the
Well,
PlayStation or
I mean,
PC.
the one thing they have working for them is they're going to have Halo as a launch title. Like that is something they have working for them, and Halo is still a title that carries a lot of weight.
But
Um,
have we seen anything of that new Halo game?
well, that's what I'm guessing you're going to see on the 7th. I mean, they've been holding it back, and to your point, it better hit. Like it better be rad. Like if the 7th comes and goes, and all of a sudden Twitter is just filled with memes about Halo and how bad that looked, then it's going to be a rough holiday season for Microsoft. Like it is not going to be good. Um, but I think I'm curious because we're at the point now where we've seen the specs. They've launched the specs. They've told us the specs. They've teraflops and all of it. We've seen the box. We've seen the controller. They haven't taught games at all. And to your point, Shannon, that was the thing that ruined them last time is they dropped a console that stumbled out of the gate and then had Forza. And that was it. They had Forza and like Rise. And Rise isn't bad, but it ain't a system seller. And it was more expensive. And it had a camera that no one wanted that invaded your privacy. And Sony's meanwhile is like, hey, ours is cheaper. And we got all the same titles that they got, but I also got, Infamous over here. I got some other stuff that, and did I mention it's cheaper? So why don't you just come over here? Come to PS4. And everyone did. And I think that Microsoft has to know they have to come out the gate with more than just Halo. They have to. And it wouldn't shock me if they're holding Gears Tactics back to be a launch title. Because I was really excited to play some Gears Tactics this week and then realized it was PC only and got really upset. But it would make a lot of sense for me to have them hold that back. Just to have another bullet in the chamber of one of their major franchises. I don't know. Like, what do you think, Justin? Are they worried about that, or is it just they're so focused on Game Pass and PC and all this now anyway that they kind of don't care as long as you're in their ecosystem somewhere?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if they're like just waiting until like an opportune moment to kind of show all this stuff off, and then they're just like sitting on it, or if like they're like trying to buy more time to get stuff ready to actually show, to like give the developers more time to like put together like actual gameplay trailers and stuff instead of just like cinematic trailers that everyone ends up like tearing apart later on to like, well, we didn't even see any real gameplay and this is all just pre-rendered footage.
The internet. You gotta love, just the people, the denizens of the internet. Now I feel that there's a window for Microsoft to really gain some upper hand and lay some stuff out there because, we all talk, but Sony hasn't had a great run of it the last couple months. They really haven't. I mean, you've had stumbles about the PS5, the controller, the Cerny Sleep Fest that was the spec reveal of the PS5. By the way, we haven't heard anything about their new titles either, other than there might be delays in software. That's all we've heard about Sony. And then we're pushing back Last of Us. Oh, it's just a month because the whole story came out. And yep, guess it's going to be a PS4 game, not a PS5 launch game. Shit. And, like that's really like what we've heard from Sony. So Microsoft has a window here to make a big splash if they can reveal some games that get people genuinely excited. And I guess my problem at this point is I have no idea what those games are anymore. Like, Halo's going to grab people, but I think those people are already buying an Xbox. Like, I'm buying an Xbox because I like Halo. And I know I'm not the only person, but that's a reason. But it's like beyond that, we, like Shannon was saying, they got to roll out some really hard hitting exclusives, and Sony buried them this last generation with that. I mean, there was God of War, there was Uncharted, just Spider-Man. The hits keep coming, and they did not bounce back at all. I mean, fuck, Recore, the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what it is. And I also, if I'm Microsoft, I do not reveal the price of that thing till the very last second. Like, oh, it shows up in stores tomorrow. It's $450. That's what it is. Like that. I do not even tell people what that is, because I think Sony is literally just waiting to undercut them by $50, no matter what they launch the price at. They could be like, we're gonna lose $300 a system and sell it for $199, and Sony's gonna be like, ours is $149. We got that. Don't worry about it. So yeah, it'll be curious to see how it all plays out. But I think has the time come, gentlemen, for our Mike Miller Animal Crossing check-in?
I had some quick news real quick. A blurb came across my Facebook feed this week, and I don't know if it's really credited or not. It's a rumor at this point, but I think it was from like Games Informer, like .uk. So it's overseas. So they put out
the murder wasps.
Yeah, so they put out an article this week about the new Switch console that's in the works. Like, Nintendo's supposedly creating a next generation console for the Switch, or their predecessor, I guess you could say. And they're stating that the Switch 2, or whatever they're going to call it, is not going to be a portable gaming system. So in their next generation, in order to keep up with like 4K gaming and a lot of what other consoles are doing, the rumors are speculating that the next Nintendo console will be a docked at-home console that goes on your TV. Now, if that is the case, when the next Nintendo iteration of this console comes out, would you be willing to buy it, or does it lose its luster if it's not something that you can take with you on the go?
I mean, personally, I like playing games on my TV, so I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with that. But I will be the first to admit it loses a ton of functionality by making it that way. And I'm curious, I don't know how much I believe that, simply because of the popularity of the Lite. If no one was buying Switch Lites, I'd be like, sure, that makes total sense. Like, the handheld only model bombed, and they were like, okay, people want a home console for this. But that is not the case at all. If anything, I know more people that use their Switch exclusively as a handheld than as a other way. So
nice. Justin, do you have a take on that?
Well, as someone who has purchased every Nintendo console, whether it be a handheld or a actual home console, like, for it to actually be like a Switch 2, I feel like it would have to be portable in some sort of way. But if they did it to where, like, when you were saying not portable, like, I almost picture it's like a home console, but you could dock the Switch into it. And so it would have that reverse capability in the sense that you could play, like, by docking the Switch into it and stuff, you could play your Switch games on your new console or whatever, so it would have that backwards compatibility. But I could, if they were to do something like that too, I could almost see them doing like a note out of the Vita, where it's like you could almost do like remote play or something onto the Switch, in your home with the new console. So then it has the portability in that way, where you could be laying in bed on your Switch playing your Revolution 2 or something like that.
So basically what you're touting is the Wii U like ecosphere again. Like, where they had like that screen that you could let somebody watch TV, and as long as the console was on, you could play it in handheld mode.
Hey, I would do that, and it was very handy. Like, that was like what I think one of the most underutilized things about the. I mean, granted, you had to actually buy a Wii U in order to do that.
Okay.
I also like the picture of using the Switch as a second screen for the new console that you just paid probably $300 to $400 for to play like Super Mario Brothers 3. You know, like just that you bought again for the 10th time. Yeah, something like that.
Awesome.
But yeah,
But
like yeah, I kind of I'm waiting for them to just roll out a Switch that doesn't have a screen. Like, give me something the size of the dock that attaches to my TV that only uses the Pro controller. Charge me $150 for it and call it a day. Yeah, like I would own one of those right now, and it would sit behind my bedroom TV. It'd be great. Um, but just like a TV only Switch, I think would be a great way to do it, and you could do it super cheap because you wouldn't need the screen and the rumble and the Joy Cons and all that crap, you know.
Mhm.
But oh well. Who knows?
Oh, well. Anyways. So
Okay,
yes, now
speaking of-
it is time for Mike Miller's awesome Animal Crossing corner.
Yes, the time has come, my friends. It's May 1st. Or May 1st is come and gone. We have new animals. We don't no longer have to suffer through dabs and catching them every goddamn time we try to catch something out of the ocean. Catfish are upon us. Beta fish. Scorpions have replaced tarantulas. Have anyone got a scorpion yet?
I have.
You have.
Mm-hmm. Acts just like a freaking tarantula, and basically just walk up to it, wait for it to stop like rearing its claws at you, and then once it goes around to do its thing, you just go up and nab it.
Did it shank you in your legs or what?
No, I saw it. Like it was like on the horizon of my island, and I was like, I was about ready to go to my girlfriend's island to drop some stuff off, and I was like, hold up, I gotta deal with this first. And I went over and nabbed him, and I was like, yeah, I'm badass. And then that was the only one I saw. But I haven't caught a damn thing new as far as like fish is concerned. Like I'm still catching sea bass and red snappers. I think I caught maybe one angelfish. But yeah, like it's slim picking so far for the new stuff for me.
Yeah, my son already nailed a mahi-mahi.
Damn.
So he's got, and my wife's got the giant trevally. So I'm low on the totem pole down over here with my angelfish. I'm like, yeah, I got angelfish. And they're like, yeah, loser. Whatever. Can't sit at the big kids table with us. And I'm like, oh, damn it.
So how are they so like apparently like your son and your wife are like the super anglers of the group. So like are they throwing out like fish food? Are they fishing when it's raining? Are they fishing at nighttime? Like what are they doing?
Yeah, so with my kid, if it's raining, he is fishing. He is either fishing or digging up clams to make bait to fish because he wants coelacanths. I think he's caught 5 or 6 of them now.
Wow.
Over the course of the last month. And then, yeah, same with the mahi-mahi, when I told him they can only be caught off the pier, he dug up clams, filled his inventory, made fish bait, and stood there throwing bait until he got a mahi-mahi. So that's what he min-maxes. He doesn't know what that means, but that's what he's doing. And it's kind of crazy to see his brain do that by itself. Like, I didn't tell him to do that. He just figured out, like, oh, I'll make a bunch of bait and then stand here throwing bait until I catch the fish I want. Then the scorpion. So my wife has figured out a system of how to do insects. Like she's goes to Nook Islands and then like manicures the Nook Island until it's how she wants it, until like all these insects start populating. I mean, she'll walk away with like 12 atlas moths and stuff like this. It's kind of insane to watch her do it. But she was in the middle of that the other night, and it was coming around a corner, and a scorpion just like booked it at her, like from off screen, and it was one of those like she like screams because we all kind of jumped because like no one saw it coming, and she like screams, but she was holding a net and just hit the button as it was coming, and she snagged it. It was running at her full blast, and she just was like, whoop, got the scorpion. And it was like, how the hell? What the fuck? Like, I was stunned. And then of course she's just like, you all just saw that, you saw that, you saw that, like, you know, just like I mean, yes, good job, you got it, you nailed it. What can you say at that point? But it was impressive as hell to watch. We have all paid off our houses because sorry about that, because we made big bank this last week in the stock market. And yeah, that's been pretty much it for us. Justin, how's your week been?
Speaking of big bank, we got Baller over here, like investing heavy in the turnip market.
So that is true. I was like the past couple weeks and stuff, you know, I've just been investing like basically just buying up like one full inventory like worth of turnips and stuff. So usually that's about, I think, like in the like 300, like between 300 and 400K range to like do like a full inventory just to do one trip worth of turnips and stuff. So that way, instead of having to do multiple trips and stuff to someone's island, just do like a one and done, you know, make like $1 million-ish or whatever and call it good. But this time it's like I was sitting there and I'm like, you know, all my stuff's paid off. I was like, I've just been using money to buy clothes and like just acquire what furniture and stuff I could. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'll roll the dice. So I took all my money out of the machine, which was 4.3 million, and had to do multiple trips because I couldn't even pull that full amount out because my pockets were so full of money. I could only carry about in the 3 millish range. So I had to actually make a second trip to pull the last like million out, and then just repeatedly buy turnips. And the biggest section of my beach is filled from corner to corner with as much turnips as would fit. And then I had to put the rest in my backyard of my house because they wouldn't all fit on the beach. So I saw some of my villagers trying to walk on the beach and stuff to catch fish, and they're looking around like I'm like the biggest piece of shit because I just littered the beach with turnips, and they're like, like what's going on here?
That's awesome.
Yeah, you got to know, Shannon. You know, Justin's that 1%. He's a billionaire. He doesn't have time to worry about things like making less than $1 million. You know, you just with our peasant problems. You know, like,
I know, dude. Like I think I put like I think it was like 375,000 bells into turnips because fan of the show, Jordan, opened up his island for me this morning, like with 7 minutes before noon on his time, so I could get in there and buy some turnips. Created a very tense moment when Zach's character was on the island buying turnips and decided to leave with like
that was my wife, by the way. My wife totally just shanked Shannon right in the like last minute of his transaction.
I'm sitting there and it booted me out of the transaction, and I'm like,
hold on,
Shannon.
Shannon, hold on. Listen. What stuff?
It was an accident.
Oh man, so tense. But yeah, hopefully I don't lose my shirt this week. That would be great because that's all my money.
Well, I feel we'll keep that thread I have going, the stock market thread on the group, so people get good prices on their islands. We can post up and maybe get some codes going.
Yeah,
we'll make
awesome.
Because that's my thing is I bought so much knowing that it's like it'd be unruly to try and actually go to someone's island to make the amount of trips it would require to sell 4.3 million worth of turnips. So I'm basically rolling the dice. I mean, I could like just do like one trip, or if someone had like good price, just maybe do 1 or 2 trips and sell like many for like a really good price. But I'm pretty much banking on hoping that on my island I hit at least 200 and then can get a return profit of 8.6 million for my turnips.
Jesus.
There you go.
You're gonna need to buy
go.
like a Freightliner so you can put like all of your turnips on just like a huge boat and then just ship them over to somebody's island to sell them.
Basically, yeah.
Tom Nook's gonna, or was it Tommy and Timmy are just gonna look at your ass walking in with all these turnips and be like, "Oh shit."
Right?
Yeah, like this guy again.
Like,
Oh, man.
this bitch, Jesus. But yeah, from one garden to another. I talked last week about a little bit about how Viva Pinata was. We fired that up to see if my son would be into it, and yeah, like I said, he took to it. He liked it a lot. And then this week happened where it was just became suddenly all consuming for him, where it became like, oh, the next hour, shut up. We got to get that guy. We got to do this. And we can, and then he figured out you can start a second garden that is still attached to your first one, but doesn't have any of the crap in it yet. So then it became like, oh, well, we need the desert garden and we need the snow garden and the water garden and like, you know, and then the monkey garden and the bear garden. It was just like, oh my God. Oh, like it's, and you know, the poor kid isn't in school right now. So it's literally like every conversation he has revolves around Viva Pinata or Animal Crossing, but one of those two things all day. All day it's just Viva Pinata or Animal Crossing. It's insane to see the way it has taken over my household, and that game is, you know, what, 12 years old now? It's kind of nuts.
You know, I've noticed in my Pokemon Go account that like both your wife and your son's accounts are like 2+ days now on my like, status update. I'm like, oh, this is sad.
So Steph has said that it's weird to her because she doesn't, you know, she's working from home now, that her commute was Pokemon time. And that's when she did a lot of her stuff, and she managed her and my son's accounts at the same time. And since playing Animal Crossing and not commuting, she just has kind of stopped caring about Pokemon Go, which is kind of crazy because she put a lot of time into that game for a long time. But on a quick note, I don't know if either one of you noticed, Pokemon Go, though, has started remote raids.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy remote raid passes, so as long as you can see the raid on your screen, you could do it. And they've started doing the daily, you know, the quest you'd get for spinning stops. They've just started populating in your, so you don't have to spin to get them anymore. I bet they started losing a lot of money when people weren't walking around playing that game anymore. And it's interesting to see them come up with some ways to combat it. And I have to say, I'm still not playing it really right now. I don't know. It's just weird. It's different when you can go out and walk around. It's something to do. But sitting at my house, I don't really care that much, especially when I have Animal Crossing or Viva Pinata. I don't know. But as far as new games, not things that came out over a decade ago. Now, me and Shannon both have been playing Streets of Rage 4. Is that correct?
Yes, and it is awesome.
What are you playing it on?
The Switch.
Okay, I'm playing on Xbox. And so as someone that grew up with a Sega Master System and a Sega Genesis, I have been a Streets of Rage guy for a long time. Streets of Rage 2 was probably still my favorite. But, man, this team nailed it. They got it. Like, it is pure Streets of Rage as I remember it, but the graphics are great. The music is amazing. The length of the levels is just about right. Right about the time you're sick of it, it's over, and it's great every time. The game can be challenging, but not impossible. And I like the combo system they've got built into there because it's very simple. There's a jump, an attack, and a special attack, and you can combine the jump to do a jump attack or whatever. But as you're going through, you can. And if you double tap a direction and hit the attack button, you do like an amplified or heavy attack, I guess. And you can start chaining all of that together as you get in crowds of guys to do combos, and different things will unlock. And it was an Axel has like kind of a crazy dragon punch looking thing, and I've just been super into it. I think it works incredibly well, and it's made me really miss beat 'em ups. Shannon, what do you think?
Yeah, I started playing as the counterpart to Axel. I think it's the girl in the and she's got like this bicycle kick thing that she does that like sends like the enemies flying off the screen. And then once you upgrade her, she's got like a Hadouken that she kind of like a small fireball that she throws out in front of her.
Sure.
That kind of does some like crowd dispersal, which is good. But yeah, like I didn't know about the strong attacks, because there's really no tutorial for the game. Like it just kind of, if you start the game, it just kind of drops you like right off into the game. And then you're just kind of there to figure out what's going on. And then the first time you use your superpower, you're like, okay, this is really cool. And then you feel like spamming it. But then like after you use it like 20 times, like the computer kind of comes in and says, look, like you're losing your life when you use your special move. So like chill.
Yeah.
And then like, you're like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, like what you're saying is pretty much true. Like just as you get tired of a level or you're getting tired of like one certain part of the city, like the boss comes up, and like usually around that time you have enough points accrued to where you had like an extra life pop up. So they're pretty forgiving as far as like if you get in the wrong area, because like the first boss you fight has a pretty large area of effect on the ground, like when she attacks. So I mean, there are a couple miscues because like you're still getting used to how your character attacks and the delay between your attack and your dodge or your jump, and how far your character can get out of the way. So once you get to that, once you get that nuance down, usually you're around like your last life or your second to last life. So it's pretty forgiving if you're playing on normal. I haven't tried the harder difficulty, so I don't know how much, more annoying it would get. Like if you were, trying to defeat these people, because they kind of seem like they got the upper hand on you. Like you can't really, I don't think, unless you played that very methodically, I don't think you would get through the boss fight without losing a life or two. So, it'd be interesting to see what it's like on the higher difficulties, but I'm enjoying it just on normal.
Did you play through the cargo ship?
No, I've done the city and I've done the police station. And right as I got to the cargo ship, I was like, okay, I need to get to Animal Crossing to do some like stuff. Gotcha. And so I just kind of put it down. But I do want to unlock all the characters so I can see like how the playing style varies. So, and I like the initial roster that they have. I like the chick with the guitar, the dude with the cyborg arms, and then like, your two like main characters. So
by the way, I love okay, can we just talk about that for a second? So you have the two main characters, which are Axel Stone and Blaze Fielding. And then the new the girl with the guitar is Cherry Hunter, and the big guy is Floyd. Like Floyd, like Axel, Blaze, Cherry, Floyd. Like what? Like, come on! Like, it breaks up the ABC thing you have working. You couldn't just name him like Dan or something, But like Floyd, what the fuck is that? Like, come on. Anyway,
coming to the stage, David.
Yeah, exactly. If you like the scenery, make with the greenery. But I played through all of them. I really like the big guy though, even though his name is Floyd. He's a great tank. He's good crowd control. But I was going to ask about the cargo ship is because I was kind of cruising through that game on normal, and then the boss of the cargo ship beat the crap out of me. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? But then it did the thing where I couldn't figure it out the first time through. I just got the crap kicked out of me. The next time I got to her, I won in 10 seconds. And I was just like, is that the game being inconsistent, or am I just better now than I was 10 minutes ago? I don't know. So yeah, I'm curious to keep trying at that to see if it's like, is it scaling or something? Because that seemed real weird to me that like I struggled that hard, and then literally the next run was just like, okay, so that's over. But no, I'm enjoying how just stupid the story is. It's completely ridiculous and it's completely over the top, but it's awesome. And have you playing this one at all, Justin, or not yet?
No, I know we talked about it because I know Robbie was really hyped for it too, and I know he's been playing it. But Yeah, I mean I've played like, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World and like Turtles in Time and stuff like that, but
Mm.
it's like one of those where it's like for me, I think I would enjoy it more playing with somebody else, and it's like
Yeah,
because I don't have that, so it's like one of those where it's like most fighting games and stuff I don't pick up because it's like I don't have anyone to
sure.
really play with, which is where I get most of the enjoyment out.
Now, I see where there's local co-op. I don't think it's connected. Oh, it does let you partner up with someone online. So, because I agree with you, playing through the first 4 levels of this game, that was the first thing that hit me was like, man, I really wish I had someone sitting on the couch next to me playing this. To the point where I was like, my 6-year-old could take this, right? Like I could get him playing this, I think, because it's that kind of game and that classic, Final Fight, Alien versus Predator, Simpsons, Turtles, like it's that classic beat 'em up model that you want to have a group playing together. And I think it would lend itself very well to that. And I would love to try it. So if you're on Xbox and want to play some Streets of Rage with me, let me know. I'm down to give it a shot. Um, but yeah, I guess that's all we really have to say with it this time. I think I'm like halfway through the game at this point, so I can't imagine it being a real long experience. Maybe in that case I'll finish it tonight. I don't know, but I'm excited to finish it up, and I imagine this time next week, me and Shannon will be talking about the game as a completed thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
what else?
It'll be the first game of the year I complete, hopefully.
Come on, man.
I know.
And next week, Shannon's gonna be like, "So I bought."
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, well, I did buy Picross 4 this same week, and I will tell you, they've actually they ramp up the difficulty pretty fast because I guess for the 4th iteration now that you kind of know what you're getting into with this game. So, it was kind of nice to not have to do the small puzzles for, a whole board before you started getting into like the 10 by 10s and the 15 by 15s. Now they have like the 20, now they have up to like 20 by 20. But so they have the traditional Picross, but now they've added Picross color to it. So it's a new game type. So they've kind of taken the same mechanics from regular Picross and they've added colors to it. And they've changed the rules a little bit to where if they're different colors, they can be next to each other now. So like there's no spaces. So now in addition to looking at the chart and looking at the spacing, you also have to take into account the colors that the numbers are, and where that might integrate with the puzzle. So it gets pretty challenging pretty fast in the color one, just because for me personally, I'm not used to that rule mechanic yet. I'm still thinking like, okay, there needs to be a space here. Like, this is an easy one to kind of like knock out. Here's my hints. Here's all that stuff. This, you have to kind of shed that mindset. And if it's a different color that's right next to it, if like, they're not all the same color, there's not that safety net there of like, oh, well, there's a space here and there's this here. So there's a little bit more like thinking that gets involved. You have to kind of take a step back and look at the picture that you're creating and like kind of look at what you're assembling and where the color scheme is going. And because of the color scheme, like the puzzles are bigger. So you don't have that learning curve like with the standard Picross, where you can start with like a 5 by 5 or like a 10 by 10. Like you just start like with a 10 by 10 and go up to like 15 by 15 and 20 by 20.
Gotcha.
So I haven't really tried that one too much because it like overheats my brain, and I just want to get through like the standard Picross right now. But they still do the thing where you get bonus Picross puzzles. Like once you complete a board, you get, or like a full like page, you get like a bonus Picross puzzle. So those are fun because they're like bigger, and then you can flex your muscles, your brain muscles a little bit more there. So there's like 20 pages of puzzles, like just in the standard Picross one by itself. So I would say if you're, for $9, I think is basically what the game is for, $9.99. Like it's definitely another great Picross game. So if you like the Konami Pixel Puzzle, you're definitely gonna like this one for the Switch.
All right, I like it. I do like me some Picross. You should finish Murder by Numbers because it's insane and it's awesome. But I know you'll buy something in a JRPG. A JRPG that'll be on sale that you played once 10 years ago that you'll have to buy again. I get it.
No. Like I'll tell you right now, I did. So I did buy another game, but I haven't played it. I haven't played it yet. But yeah, I'll talk about that more when I start playing it. I'm not going to mention it now because, yeah.
Because then we'll ask you. Because then we'll ask you, hey, did you play Game X yet? And you'll be like, no, but I bought 3 others. So,
I can't help it. They're so like they're so. I mean, like what led me to get this other game was like the art style and the fact that it was a action RPG like style game, like more in the vein of like SteamWorld Quest. So it's not card related, but it's more like you still have like the team of that you have to generate like a 4 players. And then you basically, in real time, have to choose who's going to battle and who's going to do what. So there's still a strategy element to it, and the art style was nice. So, and it was on sale. So I decided to give that a try. But, I made the conscious decision to wait until I finished at least one game before I started. So.
Gotcha. And then, I mean, I don't believe you. But sure. Yeah, that's good. So let's talk about someone that actually finishes games. Justin. Sorry, right. Shannon. What are you playing?
All right, so this week after working, I've been working so much overtime and stuff. It's been insane. And so normally I'm like usually kind of reserved about like buying games and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm still playing this. I'm not gonna do it, whatever. But on Friday after I got my check with all my overtime I've been working and stuff, I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck it. I deserve some new games. So,
yeah, you do.
Yeah, so I went on the eShop and I bought 3 new games and I played 2 of them on like Friday and Saturday and stuff. Okay. So the first one that I picked up is called Tamashii. It's Tamashii. It's like pixel artish and it's really weird looking. Like the art style, it reminds me kind of like it's like creepy Undertale. Like it's like very unsettling.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now. It looks like early PC game type stuff.
Yeah, it has like a horror kind of fever dreamish vibe to it, where it's like like one of the enemies is like a like semi-realistic like baby looking face, even though it's in like that pixel art style, and like there's like realistic kind of looking eyeball things and stuff like. And I was like looking up reviews on it and stuff because I was like, this kind of looks interesting, and people were saying that it's like a puzzle platformer and that they really liked it and that it was pretty unsettling and the story was pretty good and stuff, and I didn't see any bad reviews on it, so I was like, you know what, all right, it's on sale and stuff, I'll pick it up on the Switch. And I was playing it and I really do like it, and it's like the puzzles, some of them are clever. Like I got stuck on like a couple for a minute, and I'm like, because you're this like little weird looking dude, and then there's this like pyramid head god thing with this like, and this pyramid like Illuminati looking head spinning around, and he has like angel wings, and like he's apparently your father, and he like created you from himself, and that there's like some dark thing that's like corrupting the world or whatever that he needs you to go find to bring back or whatever, so that he can like restore the world back to the way it should be or whatever. And so he sends you out on the quest thing, and what you do, you jump and stuff, but you create clones of yourself, but they just stand there. But then it's like they stand there, and then when they die, they like explode into like little like bullet things kind of like rain down and stuff. So a lot of the puzzles kind of revolve around you trying to open doors, and by opening doors, you have to like create clones of yourself in certain spots, and then like you can like speed up time and stuff to make them die faster, so you can like lay them like like lay this and then okay, speed up and then lay like a new one to try and like figure it out and stuff. But it's pretty funny because the game, I can tell it was made with Game Maker because I work in Game Maker. And
Yeah.
like at the title screen, for instance, it's like start and then like configure and stuff. And like when you hold the analog stick up, it like rapidly like selects between. So you have to like just barely nudge it to get it to like switch between the two. It doesn't just stop. And it's funny because I was like, I know this is Game Maker because I had this exact same problem with Negative Space, and I fixed it because I was like, I fucking hate this. So it took me a while to figure out the workaround, but I was like, yep, I had that problem. And then some of the design choices they made and stuff, I was like, yep, I know that problem, and I fixed that. And I was like, so it's like certain things. It's like I've come across my issues with the game are like problems that I've come across with making my own game, and I like figured out kind of solutions I think to improve it and like make it aesthetically better. But I like the weird kind of fever dream aesthetic that it has going for it, and I'm a big fan of puzzle platformers and stuff, so I'm excited to play it more, to give it more of a shot.
Yeah, it does. It looks twisted as hell. I'm looking at some screen caps of this game, and I'm like, what the F is this? Like, oh, Jesus. Okay, like
it was really weird. Like at one point, you like talk to this like, and like the pixel art and stuff. Like some parts, I'm kind of like, it's like kind of hard to tell like what the fuck it's supposed to be, and then others like during dialogue parts where it shows you the actual pixel art and stuff. I thought they did a really good job on it. And it's like kind of unsettling looking to like stare at.
Yeah, super.
The second game I picked up, however, which I 120% recommend, and I bought it specifically on Friday, knowing that I was going over to my friend Matt's on Saturday, and I was like, dude, we need to play this together. Is I picked up Moving Out.
Oh yeah, I've been eyeballing that too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you: is it something a kid could get? Someone that plays Animal Crossing would he be able to understand this game? Because I'm looking at some trailers, I'm like, my kid would be so into this. I think.
Yeah. I think so, because the control wise, like in the beginning, it goes through like you go through like a little tutorial level where it basically shows you everything you can do, and control wise, it's pretty easy to grasp. It's really like the levels and the situations you put in and stuff that are the challenging part. So if you don't know what Moving Out is, Team 17 is behind it, which they make Worms and Overcooked and stuff like that. So they're known for their kind of cooperative bullshit sort of games. And in this one, you basically play as these little guys who work for this moving company, and each level is like you're like have like a task of moving out like X number of like things, and you have to load this truck up with the objects in or outside the house. And the objects you're supposed to move kind of have like a glimmer to it, like you can tell, and there's a button you can push that shows you whether or not that's one of the objects that need to go on the truck, and if it's an object that either one person can carry or if it's like a two-person lift sort of thing. And and you're like timed on it, and it's like if you beat it in a certain amount of time, you get gold or silver or whatever. And of course, because it's physics based, there's some like weird shit that happens with it and stuff so that like leads to a lot of fun situations. And my favorite like part, like, well, first off, at the very beginning, even the start of the game, I was like, yep, I know I'm gonna love this, is when the game starts, and my friend Matt was like, what the fuck is going? He's like looking at me like asking me what's happening, because when the game starts, it's a live action video, and like it looks like it's from the late 80s, like early 90s, like home like recorder onto a VHS, and it has like the VHS effect and stuff, and it's like someone's wedding. And it's like these two people like sharing their vows and stuff. And Matt's like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's like the video cuts. And then it becomes the training video. So it's like someone recorded over their wedding tape.
Oh, that's great.
Like, all right. I already loved it. And like the humor in it is so fun. Like there was a couple times, a lot of it's dad jokes and stuff. And it's kind of like, all right. But there was some like little quick quips and stuff that it's like, I was like dying laughing. Like there's like one part where like the little exchange between characters and stuff. They're all like, oh, like, we're going to be moving this house, and, make sure you lift with your back, not your arms. And someone's like, I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. And he's like, no, he's like, that's what it says in the training manual. And he's like, but we didn't get a training man. And he's like, all right, guys, let's just back it up. Let's get some in there. And he's like, they have insurance, so it doesn't matter if you break stuff. It's like, all right. So it's really funny, and just you can play with up to 4 people. But me, and I think you can even play solo. But I've only played with my friend Matt. And dude, there's like times where it's like you get the couch and you have to just like you can time like you're like heave hoeing it, and we're like all right, count. We're like 1, 2, 3, and then just launch the couch out the window, and it's like it shatters and just like bounces like in the street and stuff. And then like there was one couch like and then starts to get some like ridiculous objects. Like there was this one couch that was like an accordion and made like accordion sounds as you're moving it and stuff, and it's like all wiggly and stuff. So, and we're trying to maneuver it around. There's like tables in the way, and we're just like busting shit, like trying to get to the house, and then like accordion it like out the window. It's like like into the street. And then there's like one level where there's like a car flipped over in the street, so oil leaked everywhere, and it's like right in front of the moving truck. So we're trying to like move furniture, and we're slipping around everywhere in the oil, and like the car like hit Matt and killed him, and I'm like, no! And then he like comes back. It like hits the couch and breaks it, and then it like respawns up in the house, and I'm like, God damn it. So he'd like run. I'm like, just push it out the window onto the floor and I'll drag it into the truck. Like, it's ridiculous. And it gets like increasingly like weirder and like harder as levels go on. And one of the best parts I thought too was there's like an overworld like between levels that you drive to the objective house and stuff that you're going to do. And there's like stuff set up in the overworld to just like mow over, and there's like a giant soccer ball with like gold nets and stuff that you can just like have fun fucking around, driving around the overworld, hitting shit and like hit it into the net and stuff, and just mow it, run into other cars off the road and stuff as you're trying to get to other houses. And one of my now this part, there's like by doing an objective and stuff, like you beat a house or whatever, and then it shows you 3 secret objectives that you can do to get like a little gold coin for each one. And then like one's like don't break any windows, and then the other one's like break all the windows, and then it's like keep the chicken out of the house. And you're like because there's like a chicken in this one, and he's like as you're trying to move shit, he's like pecking you, like fucking you up and stuff. You can like slap stuff, so you're like slapping the chicken, trying to like you're like dude back up and stuff. And so there's like one where like someone's trying to like block like the door so the chicken can't get in like from outside into the house and stuff, and we're trying to move stuff out the front and through the windows and stuff so the chicken like can't get in the house.
All right, I'm convinced. I gotta play this damn game.
Yeah,
This seems like the most brilliantly stupid thing. Like, yeah,
it is great. And the part that killed me, I was on the couch like I haven't cried laughing so hard in my life. Was there's one part where it's like by getting the gold coins, what that does is unlock challenge levels, and it's like once you get 10, it unlocks like the second one and stuff. We were trying to play just the first challenge level, and what it is the first one was just me, and then my friend Matt, and then a couch, and it's like this green couch, but it's in this weird Tron-looking kind of world, and there's a path that only one person can basically fit on. Like you can't walk sideways. So it's like, all right, so we're going to have to carry this couch down this thin walkway. So we were just like, all right, let's forget the couch. Let's just walk down here and get a glimpse of the level before we even attempt to, because you have 4 minutes to do it. And I'm like, all right, let's just look at the level. And we were struggling so hard just to even stay on. We kept falling off and stuff. And I'm like, dude, we can't even look at the level without the couch. I can't imagine trying to move the couch while doing this. And so we finally got to look at the level. And I'm like, all right, let's try and do this with the couch. And there was multiple times where we're moving, and then you go to turn, and I'm like, all right, you just barely inched, and I'm gonna pivot, and we're gonna go, and then it's like I would fall off, and the couch is teetering, and Matt's like trying to hang on to the couch, and I'm respawning at the beginning, like, hold on, I'm coming, and I'm running, and I'm trying to hurry, and I fall off again, and then Matt's like sitting with the couch, and he's like, Justin, and I'm like, I'm trying, and I'm trying to run, and then like. He's like, I don't want to lose the couch. And I'm like trying to grab onto the couch with him and pull it back. And we like both fall off trying to pull it back. And I was dying because like Matt's sitting there trying to like move the couch. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm like, we still got 3 minutes. We can do this. And then I'm like, all right, we still got 2.5 minutes. We can do this. And then I'm like crying, frantically running back. I'm like, man, we got 14 seconds. We can do this, man. And he's like crying. And he's like,
totally that episode of The Simpsons where Homer's like, it's just a little wet. It's still good. It's still good. It's just got leaves on it. It's still good. It's still good. Like, we can still make it. We can still make it. It's fine.
But yeah, it was insanely fun. And the only negative reviews I saw on it were people bitching that there isn't online co-op. It's strictly couch co-op right now, which I think on Steam people like jerry-rigged it so you could do remote play with friends and stuff. But for like on the Switch and stuff, though, it's just couch co-op. But I'm assuming at some point there will probably be like an update where they add that. It's just I know that's a lot of work. So I'm assuming they want to take their time so that it's not like people getting dropped and a huge mess connecting and stuff like that.
Yeah, it sounds like an experience, kind of like Overcooked. It sounds like an experience made to be played with people in the room, for sure. So I'm on board. I got to try it now. You've convinced me. But is that everything this week, or you got anything else?
No.
Shannon?
No, I'm done, man. Like that whole experience. Oh man, I don't think I've laughed that hard in a while. Just hearing you talk about that game.
Yeah, dude, it was chaotic. Like I love it. I'm probably gonna go back over to his place next Saturday because we want to play more. Because we only got to play for a couple hours, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, got to do that.
And it's only $24.99, which isn't that bad. And there's DLC, which is like $3, and you get like 4 additional like characters, like a little octopus dude, a koala dude, a TV head dude. And I was like, dude, for $3, like I'll buy it. Like it's not that big a deal.
You got to do it at that point. And I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass also. Ooh. If you have an Xbox, another banger on Game Pass headed your way. But yeah, so I will get that, and I will report back next week on my moving out experience as well, because it sounds like a game I gotta play. Okay, well, I guess that is our show for this week, so I will go ahead and toss it to Mr. Shannon Moore for our outro.
Yes, well, thank you guys for listening to another awesome show of That Pixel Life. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a review wherever you download your podcast, whether it be on iTunes or Podbean or any of those fun places. Also, if you want to join us on Facebook, we have a Facebook group up there, That Pixel Life. We'll add you. We're pretty cool. We got some cool stories that come out on a regular basis. We got communities up there for gaming. Everybody's got their Switch codes out there for you to add to your own Switch account. You can follow us on Twitter. By now, Zach and I have put our handles out there enough, and Justin has as well. Justin, is there any update on Negative Space?
No, I was so busy this week with work, I didn't get to work on it. But it was funny when I went over to my friend Matt's yesterday. The guy who's doing the music for Negative Space was there, and it's been a while since he hasn't seen the last couple worlds that I've done. Because normally we would meet up at the library and stuff, and I'd show him what I was working on. But since everyone's locked in their house, we haven't been meeting up, so I hadn't really talked to him since, I don't know, probably January. So it was funny, like, seeing his reaction to some of like the other stuff, because he was like, he's like, I haven't seen the music with the actual levels. He's like, since I've given it to you and stuff for the last couple. So I was like, oh dude, so I was playing through it and stuff, and he was really digging it. So that's always nice. And I'm like, so when am I gonna get that next chapter of music there? And he's like, it's coming. And I'm like, yep. And I was like, he's like, when's the next world gonna be done? And I'm like, yep, it's coming.
Awesome. So there you have it. There's our Negative Space update for the week. Thank you guys. And Zach, what does Robbie usually say?
Guys, he would tell you, hey guys, be great.
Bye.
Bye.
There's Shannon. Evelyn wants to talk to you.
Okie dokie.
Evelyn.